Hello, and welcome to Depth Perception. We discuss movies and dive into how films direct the way we experience them. We create a perception of sound, a perception of sight, with a dimension of mind. We move into a land of both shadow and substance, of themes and ideas. We're on to the third movie of our Horror Versatility chapter, and these madmen picked Experimental. So our 16th episode is brought to you by the movie Skinamarink. Skinamarink is a 2022 film directed by Kyle Edward Ball. Two children wake up in the middle of the night to find their father is missing and all the windows and doors in their house have vanished.
Who hasn't been there?
A tale old as time.
So I told KMax this story. I'm not sure if you overheard. What am I doing? I am joined by the madmen. You've heard of the Man of Steel. We have the Man of Tin. Mm. He's the Tin Man.
Yeah. You're all welcome.
We also have the maximum amount of Chris in KMax.
Maximum and minimum. I aim to please.
There's a story that I told KMax. I'm not sure if Tin Man overheard or not, but when I found out you guys picked Experimental and I knew what movie I was going to have us watch, I was reminded of the time, I think it was in the year 2000, I believe. I was out west with the family. My dad was playing in a lacrosse tournament. For those of you that follow Senior B lacrosse, it was the President's Cup over in BC. But everyone had their hotel room, so it was a block of lacrosse players. Shout out the Newtown Golden Eagles. I was hungry, and I told my dad, I said, I heard that they ordered pizza down the other rooms. He said, I don't think you're going to like it. I said, well, what do they got? He said, well, it's Supreme Pizza. And, me, my 13-year-old self, wasn't too on board with the old pepper, onion, olive, whatever else is on that pizza. But I was feeling hungry, and I was feeling grown. So I thought, I can handle it. So I went down this room of lacrosse players. There's some pizza on there. So I waltzed in, grabbed a piece. I could tell my dad's looking at me the whole time. And I take a bite. And that's as far as that bite went. And I thought, this is disgusting. But I told my dad that I would eat it. So I'm trying to figure out how I can dump this piece without being noticed and not... Well, I think I did finish that bite, and I did dispose of that piece of pizza, and I did get caught. And I was thoroughly spoken to about my false sense of confidence. And so I bring that up during this episode where we had our group waltz down the hallway looking to get a slice of that Supreme Pizza. And I'm not sure if we all enjoyed the bite or not. But we'll find out. So...
Still looking for a place to store it without getting yelled at.
And we start off with initial reactions. I'm actually going to start off on this one. So I watched this... I don't know, maybe a month ago now for the first time. And I think I had mentioned that I was frustrated at first. And I think I also mentioned that there's only certain angles that you saw, only certain things visible. You want to try and interpret things, but not everything's visible like on the television, or you don't see anybody's faces or actions or really anything during this whole hour and 40-minute movie. Then there's a lot of darkness, a lot of long still shots. So typically when there's a long still shot, there's something you should be looking for. And so the frustration came when there's not enough there for you to gather things. Or so you think. So now that I've had more time to think about it, my thought was experimental is right. And then I thought, time to follow my own advice and prepare for a second watch and think about what the message the filmmaker is trying to send me. And it felt like I was dusting off my artsy lenses that brought me back to my college days at the Cuse.
John Lennon Half Moon artsy glasses.
Where it was there were some classes there where we're watching video art and heavy on the art. And so, like, some examples I remember, there was like a film festival or something, and it was like a 8-minute video of a guy trying to ingest like a condom. And it was just like, what am I watching? Why did I put myself through this? And there were other instances like that. I won't go into specifics, but that's just one example of weird video art that you're not really sure and you're trying your best to interpret, but sometimes you need that the artist themselves to kind of help you along. And there's one time we did have the artist. It was, do you guys remember Deliverance?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So this artist made a parody video of Deliverance, and she made it with women. And none of us got it, what she was trying to do. And so we picked apart this thing, and we're asking questions. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And she's just trying to say, because it was funny, because it was this, I was just trying to, make a comment on like masculinity and all that. And so we're saying, well, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? And afterwards, so the artist stormed out, and our professor was like, I can't even look at you guys in the eyes. And she left.
What?
Yeah. So we were just kind of,
Were you supposed to just be in awe that the artist was doing stuff?
I don't know what they expected. I mean, because the atmosphere I remember was it wasn't really, it wasn't a hostile atmosphere. It was genuine questions trying to understand what she's showing us. But then she gets frustrated. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's frustration at us not getting it, frustration at how, when someone tears apart your vision, how else are you supposed to feel? But she left, and so it was just a class of unattended students, just like, okay, I guess class is over. So that stuck in my mind, and I was kind of reminded of that during this.
Maybe that was the art project.
Right. The art of absence.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing though, from a lot of those classes where I'm watching interactive art, installations, video art, is that it elicits often visceral reaction. That's, for me, that's a lot of power that art has. Mm-hmm. Is, because we've talked a lot about theme in our movies and trying to understand what they're saying to us. And sometimes, if it's more of an artistic piece, perhaps like this one, it's more about that reaction and putting yourself in that mindset, changing your whole, I guess, atmosphere of how you're feeling in that moment. Kind of like an installation, like an art installation. So as you guys recall, I encouraged you not to watch it during the day. I wanted you to watch it at night because I felt like it was better represented as a interactive piece where you're alone at night, maybe on the couch in a similar atmosphere that these kids in this movie were, and in the middle of the night where you're in that nebulous, sleepy, trying to stay awake state. And so when you're seeing things on the screen, you can't remember if you're remembering them right or not. And when it switches on you, it's kind of like you're restarting your cycle, trying to stay up. And so that was on purpose to try and get you guys to watch it because of that. I thought it might appeal to more of your senses and make it feel more complete, I guess. And that also, when we kind of discuss what we think the theme, as a group, try to get a theme going, I think that plays heavily into what all contribute. I wouldn't say that this was video art per se, but a lot of the things lent itself to that, getting you to feel things and I guess reminisce about how you connect to this piece rather than an actual narrative. That was my initial thought. I was reminded of, once again, things from episode to episode seem to connect, and many times it's on purpose, but sometimes there's things that just, they relate to each, the next episode, and it just, it feels good to have these things kind of, the universe is connecting the dots for us a little bit, because KMax, last week you brought up the idea that a writer or a director or an artist or a singer, songwriter, etc. might have a vision for their project that may not come across.
Yeah.
And not everyone is going to get it. And that might turn people off, and it might turn people in. It might have them tune in a little bit more to try and find out more and figure it out and actually want to experience the piece. So I was reminded of that quite a bit when you brought that up last week. So interesting how that kind of flows. But I got a specific order for this. I'm going to go to KMax for his initial reactions now.
All right. First of all, I want to say I didn't know that the cameras were running that cold day in Syracuse. First of all, it was all right.
Need the money? Yeah.
$20 is $20, by the way. Okay, so my initial reaction was I had an immediate call back to the term that you and Tin Man used in the first episode, and it's been sprinkled throughout the rest of the podcast. And this was purposeful, but they still were there. For me, it was distraction after distraction. Just a collage of distractions. A struggle to get through a collage of chaos. And the thing is, though, I knew it was on purpose, and it was dragging me to a dark place, and I had no option but to go. It's like looking at Edvard Munch, The Scream. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, I feel like going out and picking daisies now." If you fully immerse yourself in it, you might need a sick day. And that's the place it was pulling me to, was this collage of chaos. I put on here, obviously on purpose, but it made it impossible to enjoy, when I say enjoy, the way that I'm accustomed to enjoying it. Now, it's not to say I didn't enjoy it for other reasons, but it made me full of dis-ease the entire time. And even though I knew that's what the artist or the filmmaker was trying to do, to get a message through that I'm not sure I got, I think I might have a beat on something. But I think it's really interesting to say that it did not permit me to enjoy a film the way I'm accustomed to enjoying it. And that's my initial reaction.
That's good.
I wanted to comment too, because just knowing your taste in movies and our conversations that have built up, I know one thing that you look for is a sense of hope. And this film seemed to really just completely ignore any sense of hope, or even, black it out. It felt like there was no hope in this movie. So as I was interested yet scared to see if we'd run you off.
I mean, if anything was going to, it would have been them filmed like this. If anything was going to probably make me say, I couldn't do it. Sorry, I didn't do my homework. I'm not above
Sorry,
that.
I got nothing.
I'm not above that, but it's funny how it's hilarious how like listeners, I guess, kind of carried me through this one. Like listeners in support of folks who are actually buying into what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't let them down, is what it felt like.
Yeah.
Because believe me, if there was one that I could have just either mailed in or just called in sick, and got a sub for this,
got a sub for it, yeah. We had someone else who watched it come in and sit in for Chris today.
But I thought to myself, for the fidelity of the show, for the, to have the 1/3 of the perception in, I will do my part, and that I did. 18 pages of notes.
We sat and talked about it for a minute, and we were like, "Oh man, that's a no-no."
Tin Man with a heartbeat.
Yeah. But I remember saying, I'm like, all of Chris's movies, when you pick out the movies that we all appreciate the most or influential, I'm like, he is the farthest thing from this. I can't see him enjoying this.
I'm going to say thank you.
It's crazy because even to me, KMax represents the general audience a little bit more than the other two members here.
I like that.
And it's kind of like we keep kind of testing the waters. This is probably as far as we'll go in terms of experimental.
Oh, thank God.
But
We're just normal men.
Yeah. Even with like Mother, it was like I feel like we couldn't have watched that movie any earlier in our journey because I feel like that would have scared the viewers off. And then we're at this point where, I mean, like I said, this is probably as experimental as we'll go in terms of movies
For now.
But I feel like if we showed you this an episode 1 through 5, it'd be just be myself talking to myself just about these movies. So it's valuable that to see. We kind of test the boundaries a little bit and kind of push them out a little bit further and further, and we have arrived to this point where we can watch a movie like Skinamarink for more than just okay, that was horrible. I don't want to not horrible movie, but I mean like horrible feeling watching it, and I don't want to feel like that again. And so we can kind of take that for what it is and move past it and discuss it. So I don't think we could have done that any sooner.
No, I think it's right at the right time for sure. I definitely could have done it any sooner.
You know what? We chose this. We were willing to bear that. Because we picked the other two, and we're like, we need to throw Corey a bone.
That's right.
Voz needs a win. He needs to put us in the dirt a little bit.
I can find a bone wherever you lead me.
That's true. That's true.
He was like, no matter what you guys picked, I was going to give you gold. We're like,
yeah.
Fool's gold.
You said experimental. I was like, I kind of had to like brush off the dusty book of experimental movies. There's still gold in there. It's just it's old gold.
We were willing to take the.
So what's your initial reaction then?
Okay. Okay. Let's see, where's my notes at? So I watched the first half an hour kind of separated from the rest of the movie. I watched the first half an hour and then went back and then watched maybe like 10 minutes back and then the rest of the movie. And I did watch it at night in the dark. I would call it arduous. That was the word I described the first half an hour. I was like counting the seconds that each of the scenes were, like 17 seconds of the top of a living room, 22 seconds of the corner of a TV. And I was not understanding what was going on. And I'm like, okay, let's see how much time is left. An hour and 32 minutes left. Okay. This is not a movie that I'm used to where time does move by. There is initially like a very much a lack of a narrative, and then later on a little bit of one shows up that you kind of have to piece together. At least that's how I interpreted it. I was like, I think there's something to this plot. Movies that I usually watch or enjoy, or ones that give me distractions, I can at least. And if there's too many distractions, I will check out of a movie. There's one movie that I've ever walked out of a movie theater, and it was Meet the Spartans. It was so dumb. That was the only movie that I ever walked out of, and it was split between some friends went to one movie, some friends went to another movie, and I regret not seeing Atonement with James McAvoy, which seemed boring, but a much better movie than Meet the Spartans. I was not entertained like I usually am, and I was fully aware that they're trying to scare me throughout this movie, and I want to pay attention to whatever I can, and it was difficult. It was work. It was stressful, and it was arduous is the word I'm using for that. That's my first interpretation.
I really like that. I felt all those emotions too, like stressed, literally stressed. Yep. And that it was work. It's like I'm putting in work right now.
Yep, it was putting in work.
I can see that.
I just kept thinking, I thought he loved us.
Yeah, I was like, what did we do to him? Jesus, what did I do? What is this payback for?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, we're sorry. We are so sorry.
I know half your assists go off because I don't make the basket.
You know how many times he throws me a good pass and I just flub the finishing basket?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
my bad.
Oh
He's
my
like,
God.
oh, you're going to get it.
I know. That's it.
7 years from now.
Yeah. He said between the two of you, my clan league numbers are down 250 assists.
Like Mother, down.
Yep.
Skinamarink, down.
Yeah.
7 more to go. Keep it up, it'll be 8.
You want more? You want 8?
Finish them damn baskets. Okay. That was the
So,
initial reactions.
yeah, that was the initial reactions. We may circle back and see if there were any changed thoughts, but we'll save that towards the end.
All right.
But with it being so experimental and unique, have you guys seen anything like it before? I'll start with James.
Okay.
Tin Man.
So the only thing that came to mind is the little video from The Ring, the cassette tape that you watch that kills you 7 days later. That's what it reminded me of. I was like, yeah, a bunch of random disturbing images. That's gonna like wait for my phone call.
You can see
You're gonna
James'
kill me.
face. You can see Tin Man's face right now.
Yep, yeah, I seen that.
His lips are all distorted.
He's stripped of any emotion.
7 days. I'm like, yeah, thanks, Corey. Yeah, thanks.
Good gravy. Oh, it's
KMax, have you seen anything like this movie?
Yeah, I mean, again, I can only say this. I've seen movies that have given me that feel. So as far as like a visual, I think Blair Witch Project is probably something that's close to feeling something that's like you're in this. But it was different, right? But it gave me a similar vibe of Blair Witch Project, and even one of the scariest movies that I will not watch is Paranormal Activity. That maybe even closer to made me feel that way as far as the scare. The scare was I didn't know what was going to come across my screen next. I didn't know what I was supposed to be looking for.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me too. It's like, is the scary coming from the dark? Is the scary coming from the foreground? From the background? Holy heck, I don't even know what the foreground or the background is.
Yeah.
I felt that a lot.
And you're doing that for 30 minutes before a scare actually happens.
Absolutely true. I mean, it's almost like it. But then I realized it's preying on my need for a storyline to move forward. It's preying on the fact that I'm impatient.
Yeah.
It's actually causing me frustration on purpose. Doggone it. So with that in mind, here's something that you might not think. Psycho reminds me a little bit of this. Because I was telling a little pre-production with Voz that Psycho, to me, was, I mean, maybe it was my first experience with an evil that I couldn't quite, I wasn't prepared for. A bad guy that wasn't a monster or a known fear. It was the desk clerk. It was this innocent, polite guy, the sociopath. And there were certainly other movies before that, but for me, it was Psycho that was like, okay, I wasn't prepared for the bad guy to be this. And in this movie right here, I wasn't prepared for the bad guy to be kind of like a faceless, nameless thing. That bad guy pretty much just being fear itself almost. So it made me feel, I don't know why I brought it up, but I put that was my first one I wrote down was Psycho. And then the last one was The Lost Highway.
Lost Highway.
Is it Finch? Is it
I don't know that one.
Lynch? David Lynch. So Lost Highway, can't go too much into it because I don't remember much of it. But I just remember feeling the same dread and the same confusion and the same pacing problems and the same, not the same, but similar feeling watching it. And
It gave you the same reaction?
I had despair. It made me uncomfortable. It put me off in when I thought I had an idea of what was coming next. It's like, no, it's not. And you didn't see that coming. I'm like, no, I didn't because I'm just me.
Yeah.
And it just kept pulling me along. Whereas that Lost Highway wasn't an assignment at the time. So it took me about 6 times trying to watch it because the soundtrack was so bananas good. Yeah, Lost Highway soundtrack is so good.
Yeah, but there was probably a plot you could follow with actual faces and
there was a little bit of that, but it did make me feel that. I guess in a certain way, Skinamarink made me feel empty too. There was an emptiness that it made me feel.
There's like a negative space
that I did not enjoy.
Yeah,
because I did not enjoy it. but yeah, in the way that I'll repeat, in the way that I'm accustomed to enjoying a movie. I enjoyed it in a different way.
Right. I think if we can walk away from this movie with anything that we can agree on, I guess, it's that movies like this have such an intense power because they can make you feel such visceral reactions. You know, you can watch a drama, you can watch a comedy, you can watch anything else, an action movie, and that entertainment will last for a couple hours, and you might think about it here and there afterwards. But a movie like this, while you're in it, has such a grasp over you, and then for hours and days and sometimes weeks later, movies like this still have a hold of you and still make you feel something deep. And that's why I likened it to like art, because you can, like you said, you look at the screen or you look at other pieces where you're seeing different parts of a painting and or you're hearing different parts of a song, and its objective is to make you feel. And films and books can go a little bit deeper, and they can have themes. Well, I mean, all the other things have themes as well, but the filmmakers have a bigger canvas, more intricate canvas with film and books, that they can go into things like the conversations that we've been having on these movies. But something like this felt more like an art piece to me, and it was something meant to, like I said, make you just change your mood for a few hours, for a few days, however long it sticks with you. But like that was its intent. It felt like was to kind of almost exercise that power in support of its theme. So
I see that.
So I guess the movie that I've seen that reminds me most of this is La Jetée. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. It's a French movie. And I was introduced to it again during my Cuse days. But it's 1962. It's only 28 minutes long, but it's still black and white images and an audio. So sound effects, dialogue, and so there's no moving images. It'll show you a still. You'll play the music with it, and the dialogue. And I don't know any French, so it was so it was tough to like figure out what was going on. But it's unconventional storytelling, and like in my case, audience has to do the heavy lifting to make sense of the story. But it's still a narrative, and it's an example of an extremely successful experimental film. You can see traces of it in all sorts of science fiction, kind of like a World War III idea of like this post-apocalyptic landscape, time traveling to try and save the present. So I mean, there's a lot of movies that deal with time travel, especially in this post-apocalyptic version of the future or the present. So you got your Terminator series that you could, I mean, maybe they don't say it per se, but there's definite influence there. 12 Monkeys is a verbatim connection to this movie. And then even, I guess, the Fallout series took their visual aesthetics, at least for the first one, took their visual aesthetics from La Jetée.
Oh, that's cool.
And again, if I'm butchering this French movie title, that's only how I've heard it said. So that's, I mean, pretty similar storytelling to Skinamarink, except I feel like the French movie was a little bit more clear than this.
Yeah.
That was in French.
I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention like some of the Nine Inch Nails videos. That is because the question was, ever seen anything like it? They're not films, but it is on film, and it is a visual presentation.
But
like
the
closer,
stop motion.
Yeah, but like glitchy.
Yeah, stop
right?
motion like clay people moving.
And off focus.
Yep. Yeah.
And all I have to go with on pretty much today's entire pod is how it made me feel more than at all any. You're gonna see in these pages. There's no sense of any theme or connecting dots, but there's attempts.
Yeah.
There's a studious attempt, an honest studious attempt. That said, I can tell you, I know this, being someone who tries to write and tries to do music and tries to write poetry and tries to create. I know how something makes me feel, and so I can say, yes, this is very similar to this piece of art. This is similar to this. And those Nine Inch Nails video, like March of the Pigs, Closer. Anything with Trent Reznor really experimented with some really, really odd videos. That made it cool. And even like, not getting it, like Tool. And like,
I was going to say,
other
there's
bands
Tool
too, like in
too,
Perfect Circle. They really show videos like that is like, ooh, it makes you feel it's off-putting. Mm-hmm. And yet it tells the story
grimy.
perfect of
like
what
I feel
that
dirty
artist is
after
trying to
watching
say.
it.
Yeah. So when I put it in that lens thing, I guess I can kind of see why an artist would want to create something like this to kind of force feed you to feel this way. What kind of sadomasochistic person is this? And what kind of pushover am I to watch it?
So I'm going to move into a little discussion here of jump scare versus dread versus discomfort. And if you have examples from this movie that you can pull from. So I'll start this one, I guess. So jump scare. So anyone can be jump scared. It's a normal human response for an unexpected loud noise or sudden change in visual. When someone comes around the corner and yells "boo," it's a normal reaction to jump at it or, quickly move your head or whatever. But to create a sense of dread, something different. Examples I have of jump scare from other movies. A famous example is from Insidious, the demon behind the guy.
Yeah, just over his shoulder.
Yeah,
one?
Yeah. And I mean, you could go on and on with examples of jump scares. And the thing with those types of scares, though, is that they could be false, which kind of takes away from their effectiveness, I think, overall in horror. So when it's, and I just watched Halloween H2O the other day, when Jamie Lee Curtis bumps into her mom, or that's her mom is an actress, but bumps into another teacher or whatever she is in the movie, and it plays the boom, and it's nothing. So these jump scares, like, it kind of lowers your intense reaction, and it's immediately, it feels like the air goes out and you kind of chuckle like, oh, they got me, and But if it's an actual scare like the demon in Insidious, then it still has a hint of dread along with it.
Sure.
So dread takes more commitment and skill to infiltrate a viewer's viscera. So like the Jaws theme, so many people affected by it now. Just the couple of notes played. The Exorcist with the visuals have that staying power of dread. And that's 40 or 50 years at this point. Like dread is that sense you get long after the movie's done, and you can't drive up Black Nose Spring Road.
Called his shot.
Or you can't
leave Vozly's house.
You gotta reach into the room to turn the light on before you go to the bathroom.
Good gosh. That dome light in the hallway is the exact one that I have, the one that's in the...
Oh, yeah?
I have those throughout my hallway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's the exact same dome light.
Or when you get up to pee in the middle of the night, you can't look at the mirror.
Good gravy. There's another one.
Or you can't look behind the...
Yesterday, I was taking steroids for sinus infection.
Sure.
And he's looking jacked, guys.
I'm not jacked enough for someone to be on steroids. I'm not even close.
Not with that attitude.
Not with that.
They're not suppositories.
That part is jacked.
Oh, it will be.
So apparently they keep you up at night. So I'm up last night for another 6 hours before I could go to sleep. So I go to the bathroom and I turn my phone on and my light, and I'm like, damn it, this looks exactly like the stupid movie. Like it's in my hallway with the light, and I'm like,
phone light's not going to help you right there.
It wasn't even, because I'm used to pitch black, so I don't even turn the flashlight on. I just turn the screen on, and I'm like, oh man,
I can't.
It looks grainy. My eyes look grainy. Why is it?
Yep. You drop it on the floor and it lays sideways.
It just lands like this.
You're like, of course.
No, it goes to the ceiling.
It just falls to the ceiling.
Why is the chair there?
Yeah.
Where's the toilet?
Yeah, the toilet was just here a second ago. Where did it go?
And then I have discomfort, which I think isn't recognized enough. So discomfort may be mistaken for fear, loss of narrative or presentation of gore, or some other visual to shock the audience. But it also may be used to support a feeling of dread, though, like feeling of nightmare, loss of time and space, all those like in Skinamarink. I would kind of give this feeling of discomfort to like the Saw movies or like Event Horizon. Mm-hmm. And even Zodiac, the sense of unresolved. And because I feel like I felt discomfort watching Zodiac for the first time because I was waiting for a payoff and it never came. It wasn't until, I thought about like years after, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get that's the feeling you're going for, but it was like,
now we got a whole movie of it.
Yeah. So you kind of had quite a bit of each of those in this movie, I feel like. Jump scare, there were a few of them. I think the most effective one for me anyway was it's like dark and you kind of see the makings of a face.
Oh.
And so you're looking closer at the screen and you're trying to figure it out. And then all of a sudden it's the toy phone.
Oh, the eyes. You can see the eyes on the toy phone.
Yeah. Because you're thinking you think you see a face, and you've been robbed of seeing anyone's face the entire movie. So you're like, oh, finally someone's face, even though it's real creepy right now. and then it rings, and the stupid face is like smiling at you as it rings. Right. So that was pretty effective as a jump scare, but because it's not like anything funny happened after that. Like it rang. And then it kept ringing, like after you got the jump, and it kept ringing like at you as if to like force you to adjust to it. And I guess the sense of dread, Tin Man kind of gave an example of it affecting him after the movie and seeing, oh man, this it feels like I'm in the same space that they were in. And then the sense of discomfort, which we voiced very heavily throughout this discussion so far, about how it just didn't rub us the right way, or that was its intention, but that's one of the ways that it helped support the feeling of dread, I guess. Mm-hmm. Do you guys have any examples of those three types of scares?
Yeah, if you don't mind me going, I'll go. Yeah, there was there were several jump scare moments, and I agree wholeheartedly that a jump scare is kind of like a cheap laugh for a comedian. It's like anybody can get a laugh if you tell a certain kind of joke, or I always say that like a comic uses profanity, or right now it's like a Trump joke, right? It's an impression. It's like, all right, some low hanging fruit. Let's think a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's a jump scare to me, and by the end of this, I was hoping for more jump scares rather than the kind of dread I was feeling. Mm-hmm. Good gravy. But like the biggest jump scare I got was the appearance of the sister with no mouth.
That was probably a big one for me.
Just like the context, you just watch it for the context. Don't watch it, or watch it, whatever you want to do. But like the context was like, it built it up perfectly that you're anticipating something. And then there's even a little bit, I could look through all my pages here, but it was just on the screen, boom, and there she is.
Turned it up to 11.
And
just
it's
for
like
that one.
Not a full face, but it's like one of the only faces you see.
Yeah, and it's robbed like, of eyes and a mouth. And
no eyes and mouth, and you hear later, so it only makes it more creepy when you hear that it was like a punishment on purpose type of a thing. You think, but it was a jump scare.
Oh, yeah.
And it was probably one of three, because the one I forgot about the one Voz mentioned with the little phone face.
Yeah.
But
that was creepy.
Yeah, and there's another one. I don't want to mention it because I don't want to take them. If you have another one,
that's one of them I'm using.
Okay, cool.
If it's the one in the doorway.
No.
Okay.
So I want to go with the other one then.
Okay.
Because like the little boy is looking, and I think it's hard to say what he's looking at because that's on purpose. It's unsettling because my eyes were deceiving me. It looked like he was looking up the bed, like the bed frame.
Yeah.
Like the bed frame. And then it looked like there was like a little doll of some sort, like on the wall, like slid, almost looks like
it's like a Barbie doll that's on the wall and then
like
falls
on the wall, and then it falls, and he screams high pitch.
Yeah.
And I think the light goes down or something.
Yeah.
That was the biggest jump scare for me. Because I was so starving for something to happen.
Yeah.
And then that thing fell, and I'm like, there it is, the doll's the monster. I knew it.
that might have been the first one, right?
Was that the first jump? I think it was the first.
Because that's 35 minutes in.
And maybe the first motion, like the first fat thing moving at a different pace.
Yeah.
But none of the jump scares in here compared to the next two. Oh, they're overriding dread and discomfort. And so, dread, I wrote this down because this might be the same way. Your Honor, this is the crux of my argument. Yeah. Captured perfectly the sleepless, restless, isolated feeling of being awake and alone at night in the middle of the night. Almost made me nauseous. Literally almost made me nauseous. Yeah. The sound, the lighting, and then discomfort. Film held you in a perpetual state of discomfort on purpose. Created tension and dis-ease. Grainy sound and film. Almost like the whole sound mixing was done on a album. Like the sound mixing of everything is like on a record player spinning around. That's what it felt like to me. Yep. And my eyes couldn't focus. Couldn't hear well either. Things were deaf in one ear, so that didn't help. But I wore my headphones. These ones, not these ones, but I have really good headphones. And that's why I watched it listening on there so I could hear everything. And I hated it sometimes, but I wanted to be immersed. God help me.
Yeah.
The therapy bills coming your way, Voz. So, but specifically, the discomfort was, and the dread was this feeling as I started putting it together slowly. And I think that's how it was meant to be put together, piece by piece. And as it just builds the tension.
Yeah.
Because
like you have to piece it together.
So as you're somewhat struggling to piece it together, you find yourself desperate to find some answers for these questions that just keep adding up in your mind. So that's unsettling to me. It's not comfortable for me to not know what's going on.
Right.
And so I kept looking closer. And it's like I'm looking into a pit that's going to scare me more, but it's drawing my eye and drawing my attention further in. And as it draws me in, I'm getting more and more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Feeling the feeling that I feel when I'm in the middle. When it's in the middle of the night, and I'm not a little kid anymore. But I remember what it was to be like a little kid. I have a very good memory of when I was very young. I can't remember yesterday or where I put my keys right now, but I can remember when I was very young, and the way they saw the world. I can remember that, seeing everything a little higher, seeing the bottom of the feet, seeing under beds. And having a childlike, you hear a voice saying, "Hey, get in here." I don't even care who it is. I'm going to go in there,
right.
Because I'm just going to obey. All of that was off-putting and unsettling for me because, it's a monster movie or a scary movie, and you're just going to obey. Come upstairs. Okay, I'm going upstairs. I'm like, well, I know you shouldn't, but I'm thinking when I was 4 years old, darn right, I'm going upstairs. And there's just so many things, including everything you see and everything you hear that are fill you with dread and make you uncomfortable, put you off of your pins, so you're not in a good football stance.
Yeah.
Someone can knock you over with a breath.
Yep.
That's how I felt through this. I'm walking through this maze on a razor's edge on shrooms. You know what I mean? I got no leg to stand on.
Yeah.
And I'm just so vulnerable in this, and I hated that feeling.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Before we move to Tin Man for his scenes, I feel like it was important to point out this episode more than any other episode was about feeling and reaction rather than analytical viewing of the movie. So, Tin Man.
All right. So I'm gonna piggyback off of his idea with dread. I'm gonna start with dread first. So I agree. It definitely made me feel like how I did when I was like a kid in a house late with maybe a TV being on or lights from a little nightlight somewhere, and the shadows and images and the corners and angles of shadows that were cast, and it made me feel like back when I believed there were monsters that could exist. Where I didn't have the adult mentality of I can see what's behind the shadows now. When I can't see what's beyond the shadows, that's where I felt again.
Oh, man.
So being a kid and then having the darkness let your imagination fill it. And it's like, oh, your brain's your worst enemy right now, because now it is finding monsters for you to conjure that you didn't, that wasn't there for you before. You're filling it with whatever your brain can find to hurt itself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So that's how it made me feel. And I feel like the one scene that felt, because I felt discomfort throughout the entirety of this movie, waiting for the jump scares, waiting for some plot to resolve itself, which only gets worse and worse and obscure even to the end, gets even more obscure. There's even a definitive date of time, 572 days. What does that mean? You know, like,
I've got so many questions.
So as far as discomfort, like a scene in there that's specifically discomforting was the end with the face and the kid's asking what his name is, or what's your name? What's your name? And never clears this face. It's looking at something and you can't see it. And it never jumps out, never reveals, and then just ends. Mm-hmm. I hate that.
So do I.
Waiting for the jumps to happen. It's just, but the one scene so when the items would disappear, the windows and the doors, and the toilet, they would kind of reappear, disappear,
Like glitchy, right?
Glitchy.
I think that's what I call it.
And the one cartoon would repeat itself.
Yeah.
Where the rabbit or whatever it was would twirl into itself and then poof, disappear. And then repeat.
There's something about that. I know there is.
And when
what the heck do I know?
Someone dies or is killed, there's like a splash of blood. And that song replays itself. And then the splash of blood disappears. Then reappears. Then disappears. And reappears.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And I'm like, oh, he got the kid. Like he got Kevin or whatever. Or however.
I was thinking that same, something like that.
But I remember being like, that's enough for me to be, that it couldn't just be in his head or whatever it is, or, like the ambiguity of this thing being malevolent or evil is now out the window. Like, I guess if you're saying, well, put the knife in your eye, like,
yeah.
And he screams, that talks on the phone to what appears to be a police officer, dispatcher.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, but I think they tried to return to the phone, and then it shows up as a toy phone. I thought that's what it was, a thing, but I wasn't sure. But the jump scares, the one that got me the most probably was the doll that was on the wall or the ceiling or whatever.
Yeah,
it flies off. But the one was a door frame. It's a blank door frame, and it looks like there's something in there. And it holds on the scene for 20 seconds, and you're looking, and I'm like, I don't want to look.
I know,
same. And then I one eye, and then I'm like,
oh.
But it's been 30 minutes of nothing, whatever. So I'm trying to look at in the depths of this.
That's right.
Dark abyss.
It forces you.
And then just a hand comes around the door frame, and it like saturates white and like that, like and then it goes back to another angle, another corner, and I'm like, it doesn't resolve anything, doesn't give me any material items to grab onto for story and plot and meaning. It just goes back to the angles.
Everything you're describing makes me feel like all of this is a subconscious nightmare or dream or like trauma state.
Right.
To me, I mean, I feel like the filmmaker is just forcing me into this place that I don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
But I know what nightmares feel like, and I know that my senses don't work the way I want them to. They're not quite exactly how they should be. Right. And that's terrifying. That a filmmaker made something that made me feel like I might feel when I'm in a nightmare. There's a couple examples I'm gonna point out, like the scenes that that stick out for me, because there's a particular nightmare scenario that I've experienced when I was younger and a lot older than when you're supposed to, that was presented in this film, on top of just a general feeling of nightmare, like when things don't function like they're supposed to and your vision betrays you and things you hear don't always add up. And I mean, like, what was the nightmare about? I remember my mom would ask me, "You have a nightmare? What was it about?" And it would just make no sense. Well, I was playing tennis with a dinosaur, and this witch came up and bought me tacos, and the tacos were worms. Nothing that makes sense. It was just a little off, but that was nightmares and dreams, and that's what's like. Who knew that this is how you could force me back into that place by just showing me all this weird stuff?
Yeah.
Beep.
Showing me
this
blurry
weird
angles
beep.
of
Yeah. So
I think I covered all mine, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the I guess it must be since becoming a father, but like the sounds, the piercing, shrieking, crying of the kids, like when Kevin presumably sticks the knife in his eye, and you hear the crying, like that's something that it triggers. It elicits a reaction to like this immediate urge to see what's wrong and get up and look for and help and this is an emergency. This kid is, possibly my kid is in great duress and needs me right now. So I think that was probably the strongest reaction I got, was hearing those screams.
Yeah.
So before we go into trying to figure out the theme together or piece together a theme, a main point of the movie, I wanted to throw this at you guys and ask if you think it did anything well. And I think I already got my answer, though, and it's this idea of creating the sense. To me, this movie recreated the sense of a nightmare or dream aesthetically almost as perfectly as I've seen anyone's attempts. The graininess of it, the feeling like when you wake up in the middle of the night for some reason, like you left the TV on, or you have to go to the bathroom, or just something woke you up in the middle of the night, captures that perfectly.
I think so too.
The feeling of you're in a dream, and like you said, KMax, where things happen and you try to tell someone what happened, and it's like, well, that's nonsense. And then Tin Man, you mentioned, showing like your bathroom or whatever with the light and realizing like, oh, that's exactly what these.
This is what it's looking like. Yeah.
And I remember, I feel like this movie all kind of like unlocked some doors that we kept hidden or kept closed for some time since becoming adults. So like when they had there's a few shots that focused on the nightlight for just no apparent reason.
Yeah,
like it was flickering a little bit,
yeah.
and then there's one scene. There's like a odd cut where you kind of saw an outlet, and then the light was plugged in, but the way it was shot, it was like the nightlight came from off screen and plugged in to the outlet that was in the bottom left corner of the screen, and that cut lasted for like half a second. So you saw something happen and you weren't sure what, and I had to rewind it to figure out, they plugged in the nightlight again. But I remember as a kid, on nights that I couldn't sleep, I would get up and I would just stare at the nightlight, and I would see how the light moved through the I don't know if it's not a prism, but like the covering of the light. I would see how it moved through there, and then I would kind of move that so I could see the actual bulb and see how the light moved in the bulb. So it reminded me of that, where and that they show that in the thing where it's just a shot on the nightlight. So a lot of, like I said, just being able to transport the audience to this sense of a nightmare. And I think, like I said, that's important to the overall theme and what it's trying to get you to feel. But like I said, I think that's what we could probably agree on, is how well it captured that atmosphere. Did you guys want to add to that at all?
Well, I think it captured it so well that I was recalling several different dream nightmare sequences from different parts of my life. Almost like, oh, I see you borrowed that from when I was 8 years old. And
Get out of my head.
Yes, no kidding. I mean, it feels like a collection of, as if the filmmaker has a collection, as a collector of fears, and has a way of kind of saying, I'm pulling from a database, almost like an algorithm. Like if I have everybody type in their worst nightmares. Mm-hmm. What are some characteristics of nightmares? Huh?
That is what he did.
So yeah,
I'll get into that.
I told you you'd look up something.
So, but my big fear was that it felt so strangely like it was jumping into my head, because the toilet thing. And I wanted to share this one. I had bedwetting problems up till last week. No, I'm just kidding. But a lot later than you should. A lot later than you should, for sure. And they were like in my it's weird because in my dreams, I would feel like I have to go to the bathroom really bad, and I'd be in a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And in my dreams, the traditional place to go to the bathroom wasn't available. So like, no bathroom available, all right? And then there would be like a non-traditional place to go eventually in the dream after like what seemed like hours of not being able to go to the bathroom. And then finding a tree or somewhere, finally saying, oh my gosh, I have to go so bad. And then going thinking this isn't the right place to go. This isn't the accurate place. This isn't where I'm supposed to go to the bathroom. Then waking up and being, I'm going to get in trouble because I'd wet the bed.
Yeah.
But that was never preceded by a dream where I was looking for somewhere to run and go to the bathroom because the regular bathroom wasn't available. These kids, like, you got to see this. Like I wrote it down. Look, you have to come and see this. And then a little bit later, it shows the toilet bowl disappear, and you see like the toilet bowl, the little thing where the toilet paper goes. Yeah. That stays the same.
Yeah, that's still.
Don't
there.
fear, that's still there. And then he says, "Where did it go?" Or maybe Kaylee says it, but someone says, "Where did it go?" And then a little bit later, he says, "Sorry, I couldn't go." He says it almost like, "Sorry, I couldn't go," and that played right into my own little nightmare and my own issues as a bedwetter. Of yes, I know what you mean, you little guy. I've said that where you go to the bathroom, and maybe it was fear. I didn't want to walk all the way down the hallway to the bathroom. So did you go to the bathroom? Yeah, I did. And then someone calling me out, "Oh, sorry, I tried to go, I couldn't go." So that would be something that I would say, like right there in this doggone movie, and then. As you can imagine, it's not over yet, Lee Harvey. There's more terror to follow. So as we're looking and seeing this bathroom absent a water tank and a commode, the water tank comes sliding back into place, like the back water tank, but a bucket replaces where the commode is. Yeah. And he literally says gross. Like the little boy says gross. Yeah. As I would have to say, oh, we're going to use a bucket. But again, it's a place to go to the bathroom. It's slightly off. Would you choose it? No. But does it put you in discomfort and dis-ease? Yes. Even the idea of using a bucket for our toilet puts you off, is off-putting, and is somehow like an animal feeling of, I got to be more,
or a prisoner.
Prisoner, I guess. Yeah, that's another way of saying it. But like things like that, that's not the only time that I was felt like it was a nightmare state. Like even the doors when he's on the 911 call, something about but we don't have. I don't have any doors. There's no doors where doors were or something. The little boy says. I have it all written down in here, but he says something on the 911 call. And then like, all of it is nightmare fuel. Like nobody that you could count on to help you can help you. Yep. There's more, but I'll stop there with that thought.
I wanted before I forget. There's another aspect of. The way that they presented this nightmare to you that made it feel like a real nightmare was the idea of using the subtitles, because I know I've had dreams where I know what was communicated to another person in this dream, but I cannot recall a voice and I cannot recall an actual interaction, but I know that there was a communication happening.
That's interesting.
So in this movie, they use the subtitles, and there may not have been anyone that said anything, but it was communicated there, so that you know what one character was saying to another, or what was communicated between characters. So I thought that was also such a crazy thing to pick up, and how to turn that into a visual representation that would still make you feel the same way as a dream. So crazy. I mean,
it is crazy and a little mind-blowing and terrifying. For real, for me.
Tin Man, did you have anything to add
so
on to that?
The little bit I did look into was a little more trivia type of information. I didn't want to go into themes or meanings behind it.
Sure.
I don't want to ruin our
Mojo.
our mojo, our virgin viewing of this.
No.
But he had made a bunch of YouTube shorts based on people's understandings of their nightmares. So he was taking people would like tell them, you'd have clips of people recorded talking about what they experienced in their nightmares and tried to make he made a bunch of like little YouTube shorts, and that's what eventually led to the full feature length version of it in this movie.
As we sit here now, I almost feel sick to my stomach.
Yeah, it's why?
I mean, the thing is like why for me is like that
It might be therapeutic for someone, you know.
And honestly, it almost feels like okay, right.
Well, we'll see if this leads into a theme.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
do you have any other input for
possible themes?
For what it did well, and what we've established is that what it does its best is create this atmosphere of dream and nightmare.
An atmosphere of a childhood nightmare that I can't seem to wake from, I guess would be how it would recreate it well. Because, I mean, like, if you just close your eyes right now, there's little grainy things moving around, and like, I'm like, yeah, there, I'm here again. Look at there, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
And how the lack of detailed characters and a plot and a story, not that there isn't one, but the lack of hard evidence of them lends your imagination to try to fill the gaps to make sense of it. And when you're in this state trying to fill the gaps, how much nightmare and imagination can you build to make this as dreadful as so be it, you know? I don't know. That's how I would describe it, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like that's where I could go either way on this movie, as far as saying it's really scary or it's really stupid. Is those gaps what I fill those gaps in with?
Because that's your reaction as a kid too. Was this nightmare you had? It's really scary, but it's really stupid, and it's the same.
And I wonder sometimes if it's just as a kid we lack the vocabulary to say how scary it was, how terrifying it was.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that totally well. But we don't have the language yet.
Right. There's not something specific I can put my finger on, because describing it with words just makes it vague and I don't know, whimsical, like arbitrary, the words you add to it, but the feelings it elicits, I can only sense dread and fear. And if I stay right here, if I stay under the covers but not lift my head out of it, there I'm safe, I guess, you know, like that.
Yeah. Well, I think that the filmmaker, on purpose, cruel fella, uses a 4-year-old to bear the brunt of the terror.
Yeah.
That's something that I was off-putting also, because you
couldn't find more innocent.
That's I mean, just and the little boy is just a sweetheart, seemingly.
Even the two words the few words they say to each other, even says like "I love you."
Yeah,
I love you too. Like they even talk to each other that way. Yeah.
Like
even towards the end of it all, he's saying, "Can we watch something happy?"
Yeah. Which filled me with more dread because I mean, I don't want to say the slaughter of the innocents, but it's almost like that feeling of this kid is bearing this perhaps eternal brunt of hellishness.
Right.
And I have a little map. Speaking of, what's his name? From Always Sunny?
Charlie
Day. I have my Charlie Day chart right here.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready to make some guesses here. And it might be just hilarious. I got like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I go up to I the way I think how it all happened.
Preparations A through G were the complete failure.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Gold Member.
I think it's just plain old Dr. Evil.
Oh, that's the movie called Gold Member, though. That's the Gold Member movie.
Is it from Gold Member? I thought it was from...
That's Gold Member.
Someone in the comments confirm.
Yeah. I saw it
So-
4 times in the one summer.
Oh, okay. So let's move into trying to create this theme together. What do you say?
All right.
That sounds good. 1, 2, 3, go.
Got it?
Okay, I'll go. So, I mean, we'll do this a little bit differently because typically we kind of give our own thoughts on what the theme is and how to support it and all that. But I'd like to work with you guys to see if we can agree on a central theme. And it's gonna, to me, it's a little bit different than a normal theme that we've, usually I can kind of put it nicely into words, but because this felt more of an art project to me, I'm thinking it's more about using the feeling of nightmare to portray how children experience like a broken home or abuse.
Yeah.
And so that's I'll stop there before I use anything else to connect to that and see what you guys have.
Do you want me to go? Because, listen, I want to read my manifesto here.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm well prepared to have this not be the case, and I hope so. But, I'm looking at the Mona Lisa right now. I don't think she's smiling, and I'm about to tell you why. So, okay, to set your mind at ease, listeners, here's what happened in the movie. So, mom obviously fled an abusive relationship. The dad was some kind of psycho abuser, right? And so this is what I'm gathering.
Okay,
just from all these
go
things,
for it. Send it.
right? And then so she left, but she left Kaylee and Kevin behind. And we know this because it says about mom, and Kaylee insists, I don't want to talk about mom. So the older kid, Kaylee, who's maybe been abused herself, has said, listen, I don't want to talk about mom. She left us. She didn't say that, but she says, I don't want to talk about mom. She insists on it. And so Kevin is injured or maybe even unconscious or dead because we hear dad on the phone saying he fell down the stairs, like hit his head, didn't even need stitches or something like that. You know what I mean? But so there's an injury. And I want to tell this story quickly. When I was getting my wisdom teeth out when I was in high school, they had the nitrous, is it called, where they put the gas, gas on your nose. Mm-hmm. And I breathed in too much, and they couldn't wake me up. And I swear as I'm standing here right now, sitting here right now with this nice cup of coffee, I had the feeling that I was falling. I could see them, the operating room here, and I felt like I was falling from them. To a point where it was becoming a dot. And I was saying to them, best I could, just lift my head up so I can get some air. Just lift my head up so I can get some air. Hey, you guys can't. And I started screaming, just lift my head up. Guys, because they were getting smaller and smaller. I was falling farther and farther away from it. And then finally I woke up and they had all the tools and stuff in my mouth and I was throwing up. And it was just this horrific scene. And I remember my dad was in there. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. And all the nurses and doctor were looking like freaked out. And then they were like, oh, no, like no big deal. Like this happens all the time. But you could tell it was something serious.
Yeah.
Because they were like looking and someone was on the phone. And I just remember that feeling. So I imagine he's hearing almost like a muffled version, Kevin, of the dad kind of explaining away what happened. And it's almost minimalizing what happened. So let me let you know what really happened. So this abusive dad that mom escaped hurt Kevin, maybe pushed him or pushed, fell down the stairs. How many abusive parents say that? Oh, he fell down the stairs, right? I mean, I don't know. But that's what I was thinking. So dad pushed him down the stairs. Then Kevin's nightmare or hell or coma or subconscious, the rest of this movie takes place in. It makes sense to me because the monster is how he sees his abusive father. So the voice, come up here. And then I had to punish your sister because she didn't listen. Maybe there's some abuse there that may be awful abuse, maybe some of the same kind of abuse. And I'm I've got none of this from the movie.
This
This is just me trying to make sense desperately of what I saw. And then abuse to Kaylee and Kevin. And because Kaylee's the older one and Kaylee's the female, maybe he has this disrespect for women and abuses Kaylee, right? And maybe the mom leaves partly because she can't handle that. And then further evidence of that is when mom's on the bed looking away, which is terrifying, by the way, too, that whole scene.
Yeah.
And she says, just close your eyes. Just close your eyes, please. Like trying to convince her to.
So hold on. If I'm not mistaken, in that scene, you see the father sitting beside the bed. And then once you see the mother and then you come back, he's gone.
I never saw the father.
I think so.
You're terrifying me right now.
Okay, well, keep going. I'm going to try to see if I can find it.
I hope that was a fly on my arm.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. So then with mom saying that, just close your eyes, I think to myself like a mom telling the daughter, just endure it. Just endure it, close your eyes, and don't tell on dad, or don't make me make this decision. Or maybe in the abuse, just saying, just bear it, whatever it is, just close your eyes and get through it. Because maybe mom's learned how to do that. So now mom's gone. Abusive Kevin. And then I think of, okay, I'm going to go a little bit further here. Look under the bed. Then mom's seated on the bed looking away. We love you and Kevin very much. And then she said, I just need you to close your eyes. So she assures the kiddo that we love you very much, but I need you to close your eyes. And then she begs her, please, like, close your eyes, please. Like, and then seeing the images of, this is what makes me think that it's some kind of a punishment or coma, like, because it gives the 572 days almost like a time signature, and it says 572 days, and I think of the creepy voice saying, keep going. The voice says, keep going. And Kevin says, can I go back now? Like this innocent little boy, like, I want to go back. I don't know what back means. Back to normal, back to innocent, back to being conscious, back to being alive. Can I go back now? And then it gives me an idea of like, is this little kid, are we looking at this little kid's purgatory experience? Like, is he in some kind of limbo state where he's being tortured? And then if that's the case, then why a 4-year-old, for crying out loud? So none of that maybe fits or even connects, but that's what I did to help me get through it, to say all that's connected to make me feel this is the only sense I can make of it. And my brain was desperately trying to make sense of it.
And I think what you were trying to make sense of is kind of formulate this movie into a narrative.
Yeah, I think so.
So there are things I think that you said that support a similar theme.
Yeah.
Of this idea of abuse. And it's tough because, I mean, if it's a 4-year-old, like, that's a tough theme to get into, is abuse, child abuse in a home. And some of the things I had pointed out, there's a lot of what you said, the overlaps, but some of the things like the windows and the doors disappearing, this idea that you're trapped and there's no way out, and this the idea of toys and cartoons as a way for these kids to escape that are slowly being taken away. So the toys are disappearing, the TV
I never picked on that.
turns off, and can we watch something happy? And then it's turned off, and so there's no cartoons anymore, there's no toys anymore. And that was the same thing when it says 572 days. It's just mountains of toys that are in this isolated room that were taken away from this kid. And the staircase called back, because I perceived, even from the opening, like, oh, he hit his head, he's fine, and the thought was that he took him to get checked out. But to me, I perceived that as, well, you didn't show us anything with the staircase. I'm going to call you a liar right off the bat here and say that, like you said, cover it up. Oh, he fell down some stairs.
Yeah.
Fight Club.
Yeah, right.
So I perceived that as abuse from the start and a cover up. Oh, he fell down the stairs, and the recognition like, oh, I hurt him, and I still need to get him checked out just in case. And that idea of persuasion and manipulation. Hey, stick this in your eye. You know, and it's a lot of harm and either covered up or manipulated by this, we'll call it an entity, but this idea of abusing. And so that you have the staircase callback, I feel like, because later on, right towards the end, they show the staircase again, and it's empty. Like they show it to you, and it had no connection to what the filmmaker was showing, except for the beginning when he said, "Oh, he fell down some stairs," and so it felt kind of like a callback to let you know, yeah, that was empty, because here's that same set of stairs I was telling you about.
Yeah,
that just feels so empty compared to what you've seen. So that sense of powerlessness also, where you're forced to watch the still frame for 30 seconds, a minute, whatever it is, where nothing's happening. So it's this sense of putting you in shackles and putting a vice around your head, forcing you to watch this, making you feel powerless, as these kids do. And as kids in abusive homes are also, where they're you know, you mentioned the idea when, if you're 4 years old and then someone tells you get upstairs, you go upstairs. There's no questioning it. It's no matter if you know that abuse is coming or if you know something bad's going to happen either way, you still do it because that's you're a 4-year-old and you do what you're told.
It's probably going to be worse if you don't.
Right.
And so I feel like the filmmaker is giving us kids' lenses to put back on, to make us relate to this materialization of an abusive home. This, when I say materialization, like how this filmmaker has created this new atmosphere. And so it's forcing us to feel these things, and it's forcing us to see things from their perspective and feel icky and feel doomed and feel hopeless.
Doomed is a good one.
And
that's
so
a good word.
So that's why I feel like it all comes back to this. And the 572 days, I feel like, is very subjective and meant to be so, but it shows up when you see the toys in mountains. So if, you know, you could see the time lapse, like Tin Man said, but it could, you know, it could represent how long they've been without their mother. It could represent how long they've been trapped in this house. It could represent a great number of things, but to me, that number is more a symbol of a tally mark rather than a countdown, right? So, you know, there's
okay, so that's like the marking the wall of your prison,
right? Exactly, where you don't know where you are, but you're trying to keep track of time. So here's a tally mark. Here's a tally mark. Okay, I've been here for 72 days, and all you're doing is counting up and up and up and up. And there's no sense of hope with that when you're only counting up, and you're on 572, and here's 573, and there's no end in sight.
I got that feeling looking at that.
So
because of that big hallway or corridor,
and because the toys are all bundled up, and then they get further. I wasn't sure what it was,
and to me, So Tin Man, you're right on it. For how big that amount of toys was when the shot started, and it says 572, and then it elongates to show you, oh no, that's just the start of it.
Yeah,
those toys only filled that part of the room that you're in. We have this entire extra 30 feet to go.
Yeah,
it was just such a sense of doom, and you know, Kevin, that's where he's gonna be for some time.
You know, am I using the term visceral right? You had a very visceral reaction to seeing that image. To seeing that particular image, like it hit me from a visual, and that visual right there made me feel empty just from looking at it. Yeah. And I wasn't even sure what I was looking at. To be honest,
will be like a strong, raw, like
I
emotionally strong, raw,
primal,
feel.
almost.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yes. it stirred me in a not just an awful way.
Tin Man, do you have thoughts on?
So, first thing that just came to mind, I just threw words down, and this was right before I came here too, was childhood trauma, loss of a family member. I don't know, like the idea of being without your parents at all, and then being in that environment. So, like, I don't know why I just wrote Lord of the Flies, but like where the kid's imagination can be its worst enemy. Darkness making a prison of everything that we're supposed to trust and feel protected by. Imagination becoming your enemy. Bring me back to a time where monsters were still in the dark. It's just the words I wrote. I do like, and I did hear one theory on it being a coma, and it was similar to what you said on someone's theory, and that was the days. Yeah.
I knew you'd look it up.
It wasn't from because before I would go looking for the writer's understanding, but this was just a random person who just goes, I have an idea. I think it might be this. It wasn't like they had source information, and I was like, okay, but I'm not going to mention that. But Chris did, so I'm going to say that.
Well, I think because the coma idea, maybe, but I feel like it still would have to connect to this idea of an abusive household.
Yeah, like the staircase led to that, and that was him being in his head, and then Kevin kind of dealing with what he is dealing with while in a coma or something.
And I even thought...
Not that I 100% agree with that idea, but that's what someone said. And the fact that you came to all of that is pretty cool.
Well, I don't even know. I just wrote stuff down. And so, again, I have every nuance of the thing, every page.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to make some sense of it. Because I thought, all right, this is a real challenge because I don't even want to watch this thing. And then I don't even want to look at the screen because I'm just waiting for something to just appear, at some odd angle. But even like trauma, like if that is like a central type theme, then I think of Percy Wetmore, the blank stare, the drool in Green Mile.
Okay,
He's traumatized so much after coffee.
Yep.
Transfers all the evil and the sickness into him, and his brain can't take it. So I think to myself, when someone's in that vegetable state, what do they see? What do they hear? How do they make sense of things?
Yeah.
You're powerless.
Metallica's one video.
Right. So it's like you have maybe some intelligence going on, your brain function's working, but you're hearing things, and so you're still affected by the real world, what's right there. But you got bigger fish to fry, and you're powerless to fry them.
You're screaming in the darkness, and no one can tell if you're there or not.
Even if the coma thing is wrong, I think there's a 2 and 3 shot that it's still a subconscious experience. It doesn't have to be, but like
remember, this is depth perception, how you perceive.
Well, honestly, yeah. In that, so I couldn't. Again, like Voz said, is right on the money. My brain is desperately trying to make it fit the kind of movie that I'm accustomed to.
Okay.
But that's all I could do. I'm as helpless as this filmmaker was to make this god-awful film. I'm helpless to make sense of it the way he sees fit for me to make sense of it. I'm a slave to my own perception. And damn it, I'm going to hold to it because this makes more sense than anything that this filmmaker is going to tell me.
Probably.
I'm like, dude, but the thing is, I'm dying to dig in after this and find out what he has to say. And if he doesn't, I'm going to find him because he owes us some. He owes me some answers. He's got to clear up some things. I mean, for crying out, Skinamarink. You know the childhood song, right?
Yeah, and they never even say it or mention anything about it.
And I just think of that little happy. Yeah. And then that little phone. I'm like, how could this little phone possibly hurt me? And it's the most terrifying jump scare. I wander.
So we kind of brought all of our things to the table here. So using everyone's thoughts, I guess, because the way we perceive it is still our own, and so we're still each going to have our own themes and. I guess this was just a kind of an inside look at the process of using what we see and feel and experience and hear. How can we put that on a track to perceiving a central theme, I guess. So it's just kind of a different way of seeing how that happens.
I think it's fun.
And a different way of doing it for us anyway, because I typically do this part alone, and then I kind of bounce things off once we meet on the pod here. So do you guys have, again, not so much a narrative of what you saw, but I guess then a theme of what this movie could possibly be about?
I just think it's the deep reaching consequences of abuse or of trauma.
I like it.
That'd be mine. Like the deep reaching consequences of trauma.
The deep reaching consequences of trauma through a child's eyes.
Through a child's eyes. I like that. Because there's an innocence there.
Yeah.
And
I feel like I'm a kid in this movie.
There's an honesty there that if I was talking about my trauma,
there's a
you'd get a sugar-coated version of it.
Yeah.
The film would look totally different, my trauma.
Right.
I'd make myself look a little bit more heroic than just a sheep saying, "Knife in my eye, you got it."
Yeah. I'm right there with you guys, but mine, because of its uniqueness and its experimental category, my theme is a little bit less well written, I guess, as previous films. So I would just say childhood abuse would be just the theme, but I would say that as an art piece, I would say, because this movie I feel is more of an experience rather than a story. And so it's a collection of these images and scenes and stills and audio that is meant to elicit a response and make you feel a certain way. And to me, that speaks more about the art side of it. And so because of that, I would say it's using the feeling of nightmare, a child's nightmare, to transport us to really feel what it is to go through and live with childhood abuse. I guess that's how I would put it. If I were to create a room that just has this movie playing in it, and I had to put a description of this installation before you enter the room, that might be something that I put on there.
That would be the title for it?
Yeah. And I like that it's not as concise as it usually is from you. If it was, I'd be like, you cleaned it up too much.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like you cleaned it up too much. You got to dirty this a little bit.
I would like to hear the author's understanding of it. I also don't want to hear I like that we have this. This exists now, here and now, without us having any of the understanding of it.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. But I'll say this though: I need to hear the authors. I need to hear the filmmaker's take on it. I may not get that, but I feel like I need to.
We might have to go visit him.
And if not, right.
We might have to watch this a third time.
Happy Halloween.
Hey, the audience chose experimental again.
All of a sudden, I hate our listeners.
So
this is a lot more fun than I thought it would be, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I knew it was going to be interesting just based on because the last
Well, after 30 minutes,
difficult.
James and I sat in his parking lot for an hour sitting there saying, "This is hard, man."
Well, I kind of felt like this would be a different one because the other ones were picking up on the storytellers or the filmmakers' clues for us and their tools and how they're making us feel a certain way and symbols and storytelling techniques and climax and resolution and all that. And
your hero's journey and your character arcs are not here.
And this one is just primal reaction to what you're seeing and hearing.
I want to know what people who saw this in the theaters, who really enjoyed it, what did they really enjoy about it? They're like, I really like reliving childhood drama. Like,
Yeah.
If I had to say, I mean, because
Yes. Seriously.
I had mentioned earlier, you can watch a movie and the effects of it might be gone right after it's done. Something like this really affects you. So someone that's looking for something to deeply affect them, to make them feel something, even though this is, a sense of doom and gloom, it's still such a powerful influence that this movie has on your mindset, I guess.
But it's powerfully negative, it feels like. It does not, I don't feel like I'm a better person coming through this.
And that's why I liken this more to a piece of art.
This is
like
Billy Madison's response. I'm not all dumber for having watched. And may God have mercy on your soul.
A piece of art, it's like, that's disturbing. Yeah, that's his purpose.
Right. And so it's like, yeah, how bad is child abuse? This is how bad it is.
Thanks for bringing me along on this. I did not have enough child abuse as a kid. I'm so glad I could experience more.
Because it also feels like this Kevin character is like trying to block it out subconsciously.
Like he's trying to cling to the more happier versions of what has been.
Prior. When he's up at night in the middle of the night, what he remembers is, I'm watching cartoons.
I got my Legos.
Yeah, and I'm with. That was another thing I brought up too, is this idea of when you're going through child abuse and you have a sibling too, you tend to band together with the sibling.
Yeah.
And you felt that with Kaylee and Kevin in this movie for as long as Kaylee was in the movie. And that was another thing that happened too, is once she was out of the picture, now it's a complete sense of dread because you realize that something happened to Kaylee and now it's only Kevin left. That's why I liken this more to an art piece, because it was this reaction, like this is how you should feel when you think about the idea of abusive father or abusive household, rather than here's how we break it down. This is like here's what it is.
Yeah.
So you didn't like that, did you? Like that. So that was my perception of this movie.
Anything that helps me put it together is gonna take hours of
gonna
therapy.
do better for your.
It's going to take hours of therapy, hours of billable hours.
There's a lot of haircuts for all that therapy.
Oh my gosh! Right. I mean, adding to the abuse, him using the excuse, like the dad says. I wrote verbatim, right? Every little thing. So I was going back there and looking, and so there's a whisper, Kaylee, adult whisper, and then almost immediately after there's this phone call. So is yeah. So he's fine, but Kevin fell down the stairs and hit his head. No stitches, and then Kaylee said he was sleepwalking. He even puts it on the little girl that I'm going to use her as an excuse. She's just a kid, just another pawn. I mean, again,
that must be what happened. That's what she said. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be looking through these are my Charlie Day wall here.
I'm going to see you next week, and it's just going to be beer bottles on the floor, and lights are off, and it's just yarn all over connecting these things.
I'm like, guys, reconvene. Depth perception, reconvene. I figured it out. You're like, no, you
your
didn't.
glasses just get more and more crooked as the night goes on.
We're like, KMax, we haven't heard from you in 572 days.
Oh my gosh, don't say that, man.
Just a pile of Legos in from the front door.
Oh, goodness me.
So we'll count that as our last words about Skinamarink. So I commend you guys for picking experimental, but that is experimental right there. So just be warned if I ever give you the chance again.
Yeah, we're not doing that again.
It'll be completely unrelated.
Comedy. We're picking comedies across the board.
In my head, I was thinking, I don't even know what movie it's from or what classic literature it's from, but in my head, I've never thought this in my head, but I thought, what fresh hell is this?
So now going back to my story about eating the Supreme Pizza with a 12-year-old taste
Palate.
buds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it still holds up as a comparison to
it's
what you guys have gone through.
I think it's excellent. I think it's excellent.
Where can I spit this out? There's Vozly looking at me because I picked experimental.
No, we finished that
Here's
pizza.
the thing is, though, I feel like I finished it great. I feel like I finished it good.
Yeah.
I didn't. I can't say I didn't like it because it did something. It's If the litmus test is it makes me feel and it's got staying power to scar me for life, so be
You
it.
did your job.
It
Yeah,
did its
yeah,
job,
it did its
and
job.
I am in fact scarred for life.
Yeah.
But I feel there's a little bit of pleasure spiked with pain in that because it did make you feel.
Yeah.
And it is memorable, right? So as it said, bad press is better than no press.
There you go.
Stuff like that. It's like at least I felt.
Yeah.
It's good just to feel again. And it's like no, I feel a lot.
Yeah.
I would rather not have felt that, but I did feel that, and that's going to last. There's going to be some aftertaste.
There's gonna be some late nights turning all the lights on to get
Oh
to the
gosh,
bathroom.
yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, so I was going to do it as a bonus episode, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and make it an official episode. The survey that we put out on our Instagram page, and
shout out to the fans.
yeah, to figure out what the rare fourth movie of a chapter is going to be. KMax, do you happen to have
I do.
the leaderboard here?
I have the leaderboard. Folks, I know there's more of you out there, so please get involved. But we did have several votes. By a landslide, we have sci-fi winning it, by the way.
Ooh.
So a landslide, but there were votes for also musical was the first vote we had, and the only vote we had for a long time.
We know you're out there.
And right now she's saying, doggone you guys, you should have closed the ballot a lot sooner, and it would have just been my vote. And you know who you are.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and list off all the movies I had planned for each of the categories, though, just as a...
Just to rub it in our face.
Yeah,
I like it.
So some of these have a couple movies listed because I was going to kind of go based on the feel of every previous podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So satire, I had The Velvet Buzzsaw.
Okay. Jake Gyllenhaal one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a
Really?
good one, yeah.
Rene Russo, Netflix.
Okay.
I also put on Scream just in case, because part of it was like if we picked movies that no one had seen, I like to mix it up and still put in movies that we've all seen to see if there's any fresh perspective on things.
I like that.
Fantasy, I had Pan's Labyrinth. Guillermo del Toro. Still welcome.
I've seen that one. That was
Still welcome.
Yeah.
Invitation stands.
Still there. Still an open spot next to KMax.
Yes.
Eyes Without a Face was also in the running for fantasy.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
It's a black and white movie.
Man
Also-
Without a Face.
Dynamite
Seen
Billy
Man
Idol
Without a
song.
Face.
Drama, we had The Rental.
Don't think I've
I
heard
feel
of that
like
one.
I've seen that.
Allison Brie,
Yes.
also welcome.
Also
very
welcome.
welcome.
Yeah.
Also sitting next to K-Max.
No.
Yeah.
That spot's filled.
Yeah.
We got a spot next to Mr. Vozly now.
Yeah.
Damn you, Guillermo.
I guess Jennifer Lawrence is sitting over here.
I know. By process of elimination.
Yeah, by process of elimination.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Raw deal again.
No. Host choice.
House wins.
Yes. House rules.
Vozly's got a bicycle built for two.
Tin Man got the ugly axe. KMax, you're next. Guillermo, sorry. Oh, for crime, Wolf is No Hollow, but there's also overlap with foreign movie called Cure, and
Don't ring a bell.
supposed to be one of Japan's best films ever, and they say it also kind of sparked like the Japanese horror.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For disaster, Signs, which we had all seen.
Oh yeah.
Slasher, a movie called Sick, which is takes place during the COVID pandemic. And it's a killer that goes around during that time.
Coughing on people?
Social commentary had the new Invisible Man.
Okay.
Comedy, Shaun of the Dead. The other one I was thinking about was Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Love. We did have Ghost in the running for that. If we did get to that. And Let the Right One In. Also another overlap with Foreign. Musical. Of course, it had to be Sweeney Todd.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tragedy. Talk to Me. And Midsummer. I was really pulling for Tragedy. I think those would have been good conversations. Action. I put Terminator.
Oh.
The original one.
Mm-hmm. Experimental, Skinamarink, and I don't think any other movie was really that close because I had seen it so recently. I was looking forward to
It also has
punishing you guys.
quite
if
a
you did pick
few. Some of the stats that I was looking up that the budget was only $15,000. I know he already cleared over $1 million something already.
Yeah.
And it was leaked early. There's a whole bunch of drama behind it because Shudder was picking it up, and it did win awards at a award
Film festival
thing. Yeah, and then it got leaked, and so they were worried that they were going to be losing all the money altogether. But I think all the pirated views built a
little fan base.
yeah, a little bit of grassroots
Blessing and a
from
curse.
it. Yeah, is what it seemed like from the few things that I heard about it. But
Yeah.
All right. So, Sci-Fi did win it though, and I have 2 movies in mind. And I'm gonna kind of let you guys.
fight it out.
Nice.
Pick it
I
out.
like
Fight it
that.
out.
That's nice. Hey,
Whatever you pick,
here's
I'm
Voz
picking the
tonight.
opposite.
The hand strikes and gives a flower.
There we go. Like Sour Patch Kids.
A nice wilted old dead flower.
Oh, man.
So, movie A, Annihilation, with Natalie Portman.
Okay.
Movie B, the classic, Alien.
Okay.
Okay. With Natalie Portman, you can't go wrong.
I've seen both movies.
You've seen both. I've not seen Annihilation.
All right. We'll do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But I don't want to dismiss
Hold
Alien.
on.
Hold
Hold on.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Hold the door.
The name
Hold the
of
door.
the hurricane is Hurricane Ditka.
Classics. So, Alien is like the quintessential sci-fi horror film.
It is, and I feel pretty confident that I can put a new lens on that.
New lens on it. But I do like nice new movies. And what is it called?
Annihilation.
Annihilation. Can you give me? Can I ask for a synopsis of it a little bit, or no?
Sure.
Country of
We'll cut it out.
Country of
We'll just
origin.
We'll cut this part. We'll do a little research and cut it out.
Cut my life into pizza.
This is my last resort.
Dessert.
Dessert.
We just blew his mind.
Is that right now, or is that from something? I know the
Papa
I know,
Roach.
I get that, but did you guys just make up my last dessert? Please tell me that's
I
true.
think he did he?
I don't know. I think about food a lot.
Desserts are always on the menu.
Suffocation.
As is pizza.
As is pizza.
Oh, that's so great. Someone's better call Weird Al Toot Sweet.
Too sweet.
I feel like I've heard it somewhere though.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I don't want to like steal anyone's.
That was pretty good though. My last dessert.
All right. Lena, a biologist and former soldier, joins a mission to uncover what happened to her husband inside Area X, a sinister and mysterious phenomenon that is expanding across the American coastline. Once inside, the expedition discovers a world of mutated landscapes and creatures, as dangerous as it is beautiful, that threatens both their lives and their sanity.
I want to see that.
But which one would you want to do for our next episode?
Boy, oh boy, that's a real tough one right there because, I mean, I think I got to think of. I'm only thinking of the listeners.
Well, while you're thinking, Tin Man.
I don't care. I'll do either one.
I think you mean you care equally.
I care less. Both.
I care.
I care about nothing.
I care. If I only had a heart.
Okay, I can watch Annihilation on my own dime, but I think for the integrity of the podcast, I want to watch Alien.
Okay.
All right.
I want to watch Alien, and I know that I'm the one that never has time. I know we all struggle for time, but it would be the best case scenario to watch it together. I think to be able to watch Alien together, because it's not super terrifying to me.
You know where all the scares are, and you've seen it, right?
Mostly, but it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Okay.
I certainly didn't have the tools that I have now to view a film. And I like that I can jump into. I feel like right now I can confidently jump into, after Skinamarink, darn near everything, you know? And so it's like Alien.
When you're forced to only try to make sense of what you're looking at.
Yeah, right.
You can do it.
The thing is, though, it's like lifting or something. It's certainly an exercise.
Hey, your PB just now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. He means peanut butter. No, let's do Alien.
Alien, all right.
Is that cool?
I'm down.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, because I know countless people have reviewed Alien, and it's been out for, almost 50 years?
It's got to be close.
50?
But, we'll try our best to think of something new on this one, at least have our own perceptions on it.
Well, that's going to be the key is, I think that, like tonight, proves that even if we don't get to where, I mean, again, what is getting to the mark here? You know what I mean? It's like articulating what our perception is. But even tonight, even if we're far from what that Skinamarink movie was supposed to, I think that it's kind of a cool guided conversation to say, here's 3 people that are close on some things and 3 people that are light years away from other things on the same doggone piece of art.
Yeah.
And isn't that what was meant to be maybe with this movie?
At least the pod, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if it does end up being something more outlandish, like the main thought and message of the movie, then at that point, you gotta say it might be more in the artist to guide us a little bit better then.
Not unlike your guest speaker out in Syracuse.
Yeah.
Right. At some point, there's got to be some accountability for the filmmaker.
Right.
You can't just Roger Rabbit out of there and get yelled at.
Yeah. Not everything is pure gold.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but like I said, we're not here to bash movies or rate them. We're here to perceive them and discuss them. So I think we did a pretty good job of that, despite any negative thoughts or feelings.
I thought for sure I was going to be doing more bashing.
Sure. I changed over and over and over through it. And I got to say, kudos to us.
You know what?
We're pretty
need a
darn
pat
good.
on the back. Yes, we do.
pat on the back.
I
feel
too am extraordinarily humble.
The donor was anonymous. It was me. It was me. I donated.
All right, so next episode will be Alien, and that'll be a rare 4th movie for our for one of our chapters. And then coming up after that, we have I think it's a pretty cool idea. It's going to be a chapter on a concept that KMax brought up last episode, and it's the idea of how did you word it?
Groin pulls. No?
That's another chapter altogether.
After further review.
After further review is the next chapter after Alien. So they'll be in November, and we'll dive into that when we do. But until then, next week, Alien.